101.9 WBT, Charlotte's FM News Talk. It is time for the TJ Ritchie Show. I'm your host, TJ the Realist Ritchie. I've officially changed my name to that on all of my government documents. So that is my government name, TJ the Realist Ritchie. 704-570-1079. That is the phone number if you want to talk or text. The text line is driven by Liberty Buick GMC. Today is a big day, ladies and gentlemen, in the history of our country, and we'll get to that in due course, as the great Rush Limbaugh used to say. We'll get to all of the January 6th stuff. So something just happened a little while ago. There was a very cringe candlelight vigil from the Democrats on the steps of the Capitol. Oh, they're such thespians, you know. So we'll cover that. But first, there's a story out of Columbia, South Carolina, that is probably, I would say, one of the top 5 most important stories in America today, and it's, I think, being overlooked. I checked, and I don't think any of the other quote-unquote professional hosts on WBT covered this today. I don't know what they're doing. I guess they're asleep behind the wheel. But leave it to the amateur, the glorified DJ, to come in here and do the real stuff. So there is a woman named Kadisha Gilmore. She's 35. And she's been charged after an incident at a Publix grocery store Sunday that led to a brief foot chase and a struggle with deputies, according to Richland County Sheriff's Department. Now, I am on the radio in Columbia, South Carolina, and I have been for years. My morning show, that's one of our affiliates. It's one of our affiliate towns, Columbia, South Carolina. So I know all about Richland County, not just from watching all the crime reality shows that take place there. So what had happened was, according to the story, is that this woman was accused of shoplifting 4 packages, stealing 4 packages from the Publix. They tried to stop her, Miss Kadisha Gilmore, and she threw a fit. She was not having it. You're accusing her of stealing. And she did the only logical thing, according to the report and according to the video that I saw that one of my listeners sent to me. She did the only thing she could do, and what everybody would have done in this situation. She pulled her pants down and urinated all over the floor right by the front door. That's right. Again, allegedly, according to the video and the reports that I've seen. Now, you're going to try to tell me that we live in a civil society when somebody accused of shoplifting protests so much that the only course of action would be to pull down your pants in a Publix grocery store, called Publix because it's in the public for all to see, and just put a deep puddle right there by the front door, knowing that people are videoing you. So they chased her down, and I saw them apprehend her in the parking lot in the video. Now, what I said to my beloved listener from Columbia, South Carolina, that listens to my morning show called the TJ and Riggins Show. You can hear it by podcast if you don't, because you listen to Bo and Beth and them in the morning. You can listen to the podcast later. It's called the TJ Riggins Show. At my website, tjritchie.com. I told her that what should happen in a just world is that once this woman was apprehended, they should have marched her right back into that store and forced her face down into the big puddle of urine that she had left. To me, that's justice. Or if said puddle of urine had already been cleaned up, let the person who cleaned it up relieve him or herself onto her. Either way, her clothes need to be soaked with urine. Just so, not only would she never, ever, ever imagine doing that again, but everybody who watched the video that goes viral would know, don't go try to shoplift at Publix and then cause a distraction by peeing in the floor. Now, I told you, the other hosts on this radio station, if they didn't cover this story today, they dropped the ball. They're letting you down as a news consumer. Not I. I care about you. I'm on your side. TJ on your side. And I heard that Brett Jensen right before my show talking to some big whoop-de-doo attorney of some kind, government attorney. Why couldn't they cover this story? The story that people care about. The story that matters in people's lives. Kadisha Gilmore, 35, of Columbia, South Carolina, accused of shoplifting and urinating on the floor of a Publix. Wouldn't you have loved to hear what that big-time attorney had to say about this? As opposed to whatever drivel he was spewing out about this and that and whatnot. Come on. The rest of the staff on this radio station needs to do better. Do better, guys. I can't keep carrying the water for everybody. I just can't. I can't and I won't. I mean, y'all need to learn to fly on your own. That's all I'm saying. Okay. So we do have a lot of January 6th stuff to cover because it's ridiculous. Tim Walz has more stuff in the news. Sheriff Homicide. Most people don't even know my name. They just say, that's homicide. That's homicide. Sheriff Homicide saying that this is all just a witch hunt. Get rid of him. Filled with lies, all these accusations filled with lies and all that. So we have a lot to cover. But again, I wanted to get the top story out of the way. So we'll get into all the secondary news coming up next. Hang on. Oh, yeah. It's the TJ Ritchie Show. Unapologetic, in-your-face conservatism. Charlotte's FM News Talk 107.9 WBT. Got my Pampers hat on, getting ready for the playoffs. I got a really cool Carolina Pampers hat. I don't mean to be flexing or anything, but I found an old gift card from Dick's Sporting Goods that somebody had given me about 5 years ago. I said, I'm going to get a new Pampers hat because I normally don't shop at Dick's Sporting Goods. I'm an Academy Sporting Goods guy for political reasons. But anyway, I got it, supporting the team. And somebody asked me the other day, why do you call them Carolina Pampers? It's because when my daughter was little, she was a toddler, so she was still illiterate. She couldn't say Panthers, she said Pampers, and then it just stuck. You know how you got little kids and they say something stupid, it just sticks with you because, you know. She's a little smarter now that she's 25, but back then, dumb as a rock. Obviously, she couldn't even pronounce Panthers, and she couldn't read or write. It's about 2, I guess. So anyway, I'm supporting Pampers. There we go. All right, January 6th. Oh, the Democrats have tried to squeeze as much out of this day as possible. Over the past 5 years, it has been their go-to rebuttal for everything. Antifa, Black Lives Matter, destroying cities, destroying property, violence, killings, everything imaginable. It's all evened out when you just January 6th, January 6th, January 6th. See, they didn't have anything on our side up until that point. That's why it has always been my belief from minute one that Democrats orchestrated that whole thing somewhere down the line. I believe, and I did from the very first minute I saw it, the Democrats orchestrated somehow, professional Democrats of some ilk did that. So they would have an issue, they would have a rebuttal to all of the craziness that they do and all the violence and uncivil behavior that they're known for. See, you do it too. See, January 6th insurrectionists killed 5 police officers. No, not a single one. Not one. You had a police officer die of a heart attack later, and then some committed suicide later. The only person killed in the January 6th riot was Ashley Babbitt, an unarmed veteran, white veteran shot by a black police officer. Unarmed white woman shot by a black police officer. That was the death on January 6th. But, that's all you MAGA people. You know what else I'm tired of? I'm tired of people on the Democrat side not knowing how to pronounce MAGA. They call it MAGA. It's not MAGA. Joe Biden always called it MAGA. MAGA Republicans. It's not MAGA. No more than sports people. It's not the Bengals when you're talking about the Cincinnati football team. Stop saying Bengals. It's not the Bengals. Stop saying MAGA. It's not MAGA. It's MAGA. Make America Great Again. Started by Ronald Reagan. So, let's revisit some of the shenanigans of January 6th, 2021, where the Democrats, in my opinion, orchestrated all of this. Now, I'm not saying that the people who got into the Capitol and all that they were doing was right. They shouldn't. Especially if they're, true conservatives, they would have known not to do that. But I do think that they were coerced. They were helped. They were shown the way, enticed. So, one of the standouts of that time was little Sandy Cortez, AOC. I think this is Dana Bash she's doing an interview with about how terrified she was when the January 6th rioters broke into the Capitol. I don't know how she held the tears. Listen.
I think that I was just going to be killed. I thought other things were going to happen to me as well.
So what sounds like what you're telling me right now is that you didn't only think that you were going to die, you thought you were going to be raped.
Yeah. I thought I was.
Okay. That's terrible. I don't wish that feeling and that fear on any regular person that's not a stone evil killer, or even at that. Even in my enemies, I wouldn't wish that type of fear on them. But it's Sandy Cortez, remember? And Sandy Cortez is a what? That's right. She's a liar. She is a liar. She wasn't even there. She was in no danger. She was nowhere near where people were breaking into offices and ransacking the place. It was made up. She wasn't even there. It was proven she wasn't there. So how was she scared for her life and scared she was going to be raped? What? I mean, seriously, you just take that little incident with Sandy Cortez. The fact that she would take something that is so heinous to a woman as rape and use it for political theater. She was, and she knows she was, in no way in danger of being raped. She was not there. She lied because she has to be a psychopath. She's a psycho to lie about something like that. Don't you think, ladies and gentlemen? Don't you think that it takes a stone cold psycho to sit there and lie for the world to see and say that you were afraid you were going to be killed and raped? You despicable yet beautiful woman. You know me, I'm Mr. Fair. I give credit where credit is due. Sandy Cortez is pretty. But, as my preacher always said, hey, the devil can make himself the most beautiful woman in the world. Take on the image of something beautiful and enticing. That's what that old devil can do. So, like I said, the Democrats in Congress just marched out with a candlelight vigil, singing God Bless America. I bet they didn't even know the word. I bet they had to learn the words to it because they're so anti-America. Hakeem Big Sleepy Jeffries out there looking like he's about to nod off and burn his face in his candle. God bless America. My home sweet home. They're just a bunch of clowns. Dangerous clowns. But clowns nonetheless. All right, so we got to cover some Venezuela stuff. And also Sheriff Homicide. Mecklenburg County Sheriff Homicide. Most people don't even know my name. They just say, that's Homicide. That's Homicide. Homicide. That's Homicide. We'll get to all that coming up next. Hang on.
Sorry. 2, 3, 4.
Hey, hey. 107.9 WBT, Charlotte's FM News Talk. The TJ Ritchie Show is on the air everywhere. Ramming, jamming, slamming, 100,000 watts. Ooh, wheeling, dealing, and kiss stealing, as the great Ric Flair would say. Words like red hot lava mixed with saliva. TJ the Realist Ritchie. Breaking it down. 704-570-1079. Call it, text it. What you got to say? What you got to say? Hey. What you got to say? What you got to say? All right. Let's talk about Venezuela. Venezuela. Hello, Venezuela. Good morning. First of all, you know, after the capture of Nicolas Maduro, everybody was talking about this Nike tracksuit he was wearing, this Nike tech suit. And people were like, oh, that looks cool. That looks cool. Well, there's a guy, used to be a rapper. He's from the Miami area. His name's Plies. Lonnie, is he still trying to be a musician, Plies, or is he pretty much retired? You know?
He's more like on the funny aspect, more like a comedian. But yeah, he doesn't really rap too much no more.
Okay, so maybe, okay, give him benefit of the doubt. Maybe he said this as a joke, kind of a tongue-in-cheek thing. But he said the Nike tech suit wasn't by accident. It was to suggest that's what criminals wear. because what Maduro was wearing is, I guess, is fashionable amongst today's young urban troubadours. So he's saying that they put him in that to be a slam on black people. Hopefully he was joking, but that's actually what Maduro was wearing when he was captured. I think you look ridiculous in it, honestly. But again, I'm going to go back, give credit where credit is due. Maduro has some good hair. He does have good hair. And a man who, such as I, who is follically challenged, can always appreciate even murderous dictator narco-terrorists. If they have a good head of hair, I can appreciate the hair. Why? Because I'm fair. That's why. All right, so we have a report from CNN, this fellow named Boris Sanchez. Now, Boris Sanchez is pleading the case for cocaine. This is where they are, ladies and gentlemen. This is where they are on CNN. Everything Trump does, they have to be against. They have to find some way to be against it. Like, it's wrong, it's illegal, it's big and bad, and Trump, blah, 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 blah. So this fella, Boris Sanchez, does an entire report here about how cocaine's really not that bad. Maduro, not really that bad because it's cocaine. Come on, it's cocaine. All right, so listen to this report. Cut 12, go, Lonnie Ray.
The U.S. is alleging that Maduro, again, is a drug trafficker, among other charges, something that will ultimately be decided by jurors. Here's what we know about the illicit drug trade out of Venezuela. The first drug trafficking accusations came against Nicolas Maduro back in 2020.
Right there. You should turn the TV off, not listen to him anymore. Because he's trying to be too cool for the room. Now, I know he is of Hispanic descent. But he does not have to. This is U.S. America. He's in Atlanta. Probably at CNN. You don't pronounce his name Nicolas Maduro. Nicolas Maduro. You don't do that. You're speaking English. Maduro. We get it. You're way more sophisticated than the rest of us. We know you speak a Spanish. We know you can say the Spanish names the way the natives say it. We got it. Boris, we got it. You're cool, man. You're so cool. But you know what? This is U.S. America. We want to hear it pronounced our way. Not the way that Nicolas Maduro would pronounce it. Who gives a damn how he wants his name pronounced? Is that why you're doing it, Boris? Is that why you're doing it? Because you want to show respect to Nicolas Maduro? Is that why? Mr. Sanchez. I mean, speaking completely accent-free American dialect. Nicolas Maduro. You see how smart I am, ladies and gentlemen? I know how to pronounce it in Spanish. I know how to pronounce it the way the natives pronounce Nicolas Maduro. Okay, go ahead.
Came against Nicolas Maduro back in 2020 during the first Trump administration. And at the time, the former Attorney General, Bill Barr, said the Venezuelan government facilitated the transport of up to 250 tons of cocaine annually. Experts believe that most of that cocaine, though, is bound for Europe, not the United States. And also, for context, that total falls far, far short of what we see in many other countries. For instance, according to U.S. data, Guatemala, a much smaller nation, saw 14...
Oh, no, not Guatemala! Far short of Guatemala. That total is far short of Guatemala. Okay, go.
Guatemala, a much smaller nation, saw 1,400 plus metric tons pass through 2018 alone, which we know did wind up flowing into the United States. Cocaine is obviously dangerous and lethal.
But
it is not, though, the drug causing most overdose deaths in the United States. That dubious distinction belongs, of course, to fentanyl. In 2024, the CDC says that drug killed more than 48,000 people here in the United States, more than half the total number of overdose deaths nationwide that year. Cocaine accounted for just about 22,000 deaths. And despite claims by the Trump administration that Maduro's capture will impede the flow of fentanyl, the DA's own assessment for 2025 doesn't even list Venezuela as a foreign illicit drug actor. Instead, it cites trafficking from Mexico, China, Colombia, and India as well.
What?
Fentanyl is almost entirely produced in Mexico using chemicals.
Why didn't he say Mexico? I mean, he had his opportunity right there. He's Mr. Native Tongue. If he was true to his art, if that's what he's doing, making sure that he pronounces the Spanish names and countries properly, why did he not say Mexico? He's a fraud, that's why. Mexico. He said Mexico and Colombia. He said Colombia the way Colombians say it.
Colombia.
Colombia. Colombia. Why didn't he say Mexico? Stupid. You see, ladies and gentlemen, that's why I say recognize liberalism and mock it, because they deserve to be mocked, because they're all fake. A bunch of fake know-nothings. But see, he thinks he's so much smarter than the rest of us. Yeah, he's Trump. He's so smug. Cocaine is not cocaine is not killing anyone. Fentanyl is killing, and it's going to other countries. It's not even coming here. So Trump's stupid. Trump just overreacted, and he's playing a part of Mr. Tough Guy. Because Nicolas Maduro is a fine man from Venezuela, not Guatemala. Guatemala. And if y'all know this, anybody knows this Boris Sanchez, tell him I said it. Tell him I said he's a clown. Put on a red nose and start honking, honk, honk, a horn. Or go pile up in a car with a bunch of other clowns and just roll out of it with seltzer bottles. Get off the news. Oh, there's another clown we got to spotlight. His name's Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel being a useful idiot again for the Democrat Party. And another one. See, that's the thing. These puppet masters and the leadership of the Democrat Party, they get these celebrities and all these egomaniacal people, and they pump them up and they make them think they're so good, and they end up making them look like fools. So Jimmy Kimmel is the worst when it comes to that. So we'll do that coming up next. Hang on. Charlotte's FM News Talk 107.9 WBT. It's the TJ Ritchie Show. I'm the Green-Eyed Patriot. On the air everywhere. I don't just speak about it, I be about it. The realest in the business. 704-570-1079 is the phone number. We're the last segment of this hour, and hey, we got another hour. Look at that. Boom, just like that. Boom, here comes the boom. Ready or not. Here come the boys from the South. All right, so here's my thought process on some of these stupid celebrities that just get out and say the outlandish things. Stupid celebrities, stupid radio personalities, stupid influencers, stupid preachers that I think are getting, a little bit of, from the Democrat Party. A little bit of influence and cash, maybe. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Maybe. I don't know. But then you have people like Jimmy Kimmel, who probably doesn't need to have the Democrat Party give him money to go, carry their water and throw out their talking points and all that. He probably just does it because they pump him up and make him think he's an important part of the movement to save America. So this Jimmy Kimmel talking about why President Trump captured the murderous dictator, narco-terrorist, Nicolas Maduro. Listen.
If you were wondering how bad these Epstein files are for Trump, turns out they're Invade Venezuela bad. This is literally the plot of the movie Wag the Dog. The president gets caught in a sex scandal, so he attacks a smaller country to distract us, and here we are, distracted. On Saturday, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife were captured by Delta Force at their home in Caracas and brought to New York. Trump watched the operation unfold in real time from the bunker in his basement at Mar-a-Lago. You can see there he is with Hegseth and Marco Rubio. This mission was called Operation Absolute Resolve, which is a title that was definitely generated by ChatGPT.
Did he say ChatGPT? Now, this is somebody who reads other people's words for a living. I don't know how long it's been since Jimmy Kimmel has written a joke for himself. I just assume he doesn't. If he is the one writing what are supposed to be jokes, then he's really lost it. He's really lost his touch because he's not funny. And it's ChatGPT, not ChatGBT. Looks like ChatGBT is what's writing his stuff. So I just picture some professional Democrat, massaging him all up. Hey, Jimmy, you're the man. You're so important to us. Here's what we need you to do. Go out there in your monologue tonight. The theme is Trump did this because of the Epstein files. But he's so stupid he doesn't even stop to go, well, wait a minute. Hasn't it been pretty much proven that Trump didn't have any wrongdoing in any of the Epstein files? He actually has been proven to have kicked Epstein out and cut off their friendship when he found out he was doing questionable things. No. That's not true. That's not true. This is all a distraction. It's Wag the Dog. Remember the movie Wag the Dog? That's what this is, Jimmy. Now you get out there and give them hell. You're the man. You're the man, Jimmy. Man, and that's such a shame because Jimmy Kimmel used to be funny. He used to be cool. He was a radio guy. Not a nerd radio guy either. He was a cool radio guy. Not anymore. Not anymore. Now, Jimmy Kimmel mentioned Delta Force. Delta Force. Some of the baddest that you could ever come across. And there's a young woman who has a very important question about Delta Force and other positions in the military. And I don't know. I hope this video of her gets back to Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, because he's going to want to hire her somewhere. He's going to want to put her on his staff somewhere in the cabinet in the War Department, because this woman is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Cut 18, Lonnie Ray, go.
To me personally, the craziest thing about the U.S. bombing Venezuela and then kidnapping Maduro, the president of Venezuela, and his wife, is that this was done by a team in the military called the Delta Force, which is like one of the highest special ops forces in the U.S. military, right? They've carried out attacks and operations since the Persian War or the Persian Gulf, Iraq, Benghazi, Libya. Anytime there has been a very high profile operation in the U.S. military, is probably this team. What I don't understand is how are there still U.S. military people or just people signing up for this? Who is doing this? Genuinely, who is going through the military and being actually, I want to do more. I want to do more high level, secret stuff that is so questionable. And then you're in the US and they're probably just normal. They probably just act like normal people. Who are these people? How are they okay with this, and how are people still being recruited? I also just don't understand how like the US military still does a good job recruiting after like, I don't know, decades of war.
Okay. Now this is a treasure to the Democrat Party. A mind like this is a treasure, because the Democrat Party, the professional Democrats, have been trying their best to get more and more people to be just completely blind to the greatness of America, and especially the greatness of American military. They've succeeded with her. Another side note, you see now, you start starting to see, ladies and gentlemen, why I stress so much, if you have kids and grandkids that you have any influence over at all, to get them to not say like every other word because it makes you sound like an idiot. Like, how are they like, even getting like volunteers, like. Now, I know you love your kids and grandkids, but you got to do it for their own good. Tell them to stop saying like every other word, because it makes people deduct IQ points from them immediately when they start talking. Okay, back to the subject at hand. This woman obviously has not been raised properly. She's an adult, and she hasn't been raised properly, because part of the upbringing process, if you're a good parent in the United States of America, is to teach your child just how important the military is to this country and to the world. The U.S. military is the reason that she can lie around in her apartment and make videos criticizing and saying like. If it weren't for not only the military, but thank God for these people in the military who do want to do more, who want to be in the very front of everything, taking care of business. She should have been taught as a little girl to be thankful to God every day that we have people who are willing to stand up and volunteer and say, yes, I will put my life on the line because the freedom and the liberty of the United States of America is that important. It's that important to me. It's that important to my family. It's that important to the world. So yes, I will put myself in harm's way to protect it. Everything that America stands for in liberty and freedom. She wouldn't have anything to make the video on. She wouldn't have an iPhone or a Jugal phone. She wouldn't have color in her hair like she did in the video. She would have nothing if it weren't for the U.S. military. Past and present. So yeah, her parents failed her. Obviously. Not just by the ignorant way that she speaks, but the fact that she doesn't recognize what's important in this country. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, you're not a good parent in my book if you're not teaching your children the greatness of America and American freedom and liberty. So all you leftists out there, get mad at that too. Add that to the list of things you're going to complain about to the radio station about me and what I say. I don't care. I'll stand by it. 10 toes down, as the children say. With my full chest, I'll say it again and again. All right, we got another hour coming up. Look at that. It's going to be even better than this one, so hang on. .9 WBT, Charlotte's FM News Talk. The TJ Ritchie Show is on the air everywhere. Ramming, jamming, in your face, unapologetic conservatism. I'm TJ the Realist Ritchie, your ever-loving leader. Bringing it, baby. Hey! 704-570-1079. That is the phone number. You can call it, you can text it, you can text it, thanks to Liberty Buick GMC. Oh, thank you. Listen. I know that when it comes to doing a news talk show on the radio, I'm the low man on the totem pole here at WBT, because I haven't been doing it but 6 months. Not really what I was, trained to do. Not that I was trained to do other types of radio, but I've been doing one type of radio my entire career, and I just got to say, in this interim period of changing, over to 107.9 from the AM signal, and all of my little produced introductions and all of that stuff, waiting on all of that to get done, and having to do my intro with just music, I know I'm smoking the rest of the people at that. That's my thing. I know. When I say I'm ramming, jamming, and slamming, doing that DJ stuff, that is my thing. So make sure you tell the rest of them. TJ's smoking you on that. Am I right, Lonnie? You know there's a difference. They're amateurs when it comes to that stuff.
Oh, yeah, this is Andrew, but yeah, hey. I know where you're coming from.
Now, Andrew, they're going to say that you're saying that just because you idolize me and you'll agree with anything I say.
That is not the case, but I do agree with you on this point.
Andrew, you fanboyed over me the first time you met me in that studio like nobody's business.
Well,
Don't say you didn't.
That's because I knew you were radio royalty, TJ.
Yeah. So now everybody's going to say you're just agreeing with me because you're biased toward me.
No, I know you know what you're doing.
Exactly. I know that I know what I'm doing. Good deal. I'm just kidding, of course. I'm being silly. But some sad news. Michael Reagan, he is Ronald Reagan's good son. He has passed at the age of 80. Ronald Reagan's other son is not his good son. Ron Reagan is actually a piece of crap. Atheist. Bound for hell. But Michael Reagan was a nice guy. I met Michael Reagan, had a lengthy conversation with him. He's a super nice guy. His mama was the star of the Friday night CBS soap opera type show called Falcon Crest. In her later years, one of her later roles in Hollywood was on Falcon Crest. Jane Wyman was her name. A good guy. So, prayers to his family. Now, again, I have to bring the important stories because I know my colleagues here are not bringing stories like this. The real things that people are concerned with. This story is out of Pennsylvania. There's a Pennsylvania woman facing an attempted murder charge. Why? Because she and her boyfriend, according to the report, her name is Destiny Green. Destiny spelled Desteenee. Hell yeah. Destiny Green is 23. She and her boyfriend got into an argument, heated argument, in the parking lot of the Taco Bell. He did the right thing. He felt this according to the police. He felt everything was escalating, so he needed to defuse the situation. So he got out and started walking. I'll just let you have the car. And he started walking away. Well, according to the reports and the accusations here, Destiny decided that wasn't the way things were going to end up. And she ran him down on the sidewalk, ran her car up onto the sidewalk behind him as he was walking away and ran him over. This was New Year's Eve. They're still looking for her. She's still wanted in connection, as they say. Now, he's alive, luckily. The spokesman for the police department said he got out of the vehicle, did the right thing. New tempers were really flaring. Got out of the vehicle and walked away. She drove her vehicle onto the sidewalk, traveling the wrong way, and struck the male from behind. Female fled the scene and is now wanted by police. Said tore up her car. But how is it taking you that long? Today is the 6th. And this happened New Year's Eve? But here's what should happen. He should press every charge he can press to the fullest extent. She needs to go to penitentiary. You see, because too many women feel like they can lose control of their emotions and lash out either physically in a way that harms a man or in destruction of his property. And usually the man will be like, I don't want to press charges. I know she cut my tires and keyed my truck and took a bat to the, Carrie Underwood. Busted out my windows and everything. But I don't want to press charges. I love her. All that. No. Send her to the penitentiary. She got to go to penitentiary. Make an example out of these women. Because something has happened over the past few years to where women think that they are untouchable. They can get in public, they can get anywhere else they want to go and act like complete raging psychos. Attack people, destroy their property, do whatever it is they feel like they want to do, and there's some sort of justification for it. No, I don't care if he was the sorriest boyfriend in the world cheating on you every night. You can't run over him with your car and not go to penitentiary. Now, if a man is physically abusing a woman and she lashes out, that's a different story. But just because you're mad is not an excuse to be able to do whatever you want to do. And the more women that rot for a few years in the penitentiary for doing this sort of thing, the fewer of them that'll be doing it. It'll be a deterrent, they call it. You got to go to penitentiary. So I dug the key into the side of his pretty little souped up 4-wheel drive. Well, you're going to jail, Carrie Underwood. Thank you very much. But you don't understand. He cheated on me. Well, you don't understand. You're going to penitentiary. You about to become caged heat is what you about to be, lady. I'd send my wife to penitentiary so fast. I wish my wife would try to do so. She just looks like she's going after my truck with a key or a baseball bat. I'm calling the cops on her. And I'm going to be right up in the middle of it. I'll be the most effeminate man there. I'm pressing charges. I want her up the river is what I want. I'm looking for an excuse to send my wife to prison. I'm trying to frame her in some way or another to get her to prison. But if she did something like this and really gave me a reason, I'm pressing charges like nobody's business. She'll be like Maduro. Big old sunglasses, marching in there, chains. Like, send her up the river, Your Honor. Life. Make her do life in the penitentiary. Don't think I wouldn't. Okay. Sorry, got a little little too fired up about that. Okay, we gotta cover some of the hot Somali stuff for today. And we have some trans news. There's a guy in Scotland that he has done something that just absolutely proves that he is off in the head, and not just for being trans, but what he did in addition to that. So we got all that coming up. Don't miss it. Hang on. Hold on, it was me, then it wasn't me, and now it's me again. Hello, live. I'm live here. Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. I'm good. Just letting the peoples know. It's 107.9 WBT, Charlotte's FM News Talk, the TJ Ritchie Show. I am him. Bringing you not only the stories and my opinions, also bringing that funky music. TJ, the realest Ritchie, the green-eyed patriot, on the air everywhere. So, haven't touched on the hot Somali situation tonight, so gotta do a little bit about that. Minnesota is wrought with fraud, and a lot of it from the Somali community, as they say, faking child care facilities and facilities for autistic children, things like that. And yeah, people have known about it for a long time, and it's just really starting to heat up now. And Governor Tim Walz running for re-election. We covered this last night. He said, "No, I'm not running anymore. I'm out." The sassy Governor Tim Walz. So he was asked today if that was his decision or if somebody had, tried to strong arm him into stepping down. And evidently somebody pulled the string in the back of his head and he just started Trump, 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 Trump. Everything's Trump, Trump, Trump. Yeah, here's what he said. Cut 14, go.
War that's being waged against Minnesota, you're seeing it. We have a ridiculous surge of apparently 2,000 people not coordinating with us that are for a show of the cameras. I'm going to note to all of you, today is January 6th. There's no debate what happened. The President of the United States led an insurrection against a fair election to try and overturn that and, report both sides of this. Well, he said he really didn't, and courts convicted 400 of them, and he pardoned them. No, he did that. He did that, and that's today. And it's clear that we also saw today he implemented 5 states are being punished with a freezing of federal funds illegally that were appropriated by Congress, our tax dollars. And I find it interesting that Minnesota, California, Illinois, and New York were taking that. The interesting thing is the biggest fraud trial in the country is taking place in Mississippi today with $100 million of welfare fraud. I don't believe Mississippi was on that list. So look, this is a concerted effort to try and destroy the president's opponents, to destroy the rule of law. Good. And it became apparent to me that he was going to do that with me being there, and I just feel, along with my family, that it's the best decision for Minnesota. I feel very confident in that. I think it's going to be clear that Minnesotans agree with that.
Minnesotans. Yeah, right. Translation, I'm up to my eyeballs in this fraud, and I've got to try to seek cover because Trump's not playing. And I hope Tim Walz goes to penitentiary. He's scared. You hear it in his voice. He is scared. Again, been proven time and time again, Trump did not call for an insurrection. Trump said blatantly, documented, that you go protest peacefully. Go peacefully. Nancy Pelosi turned down the National Guard that Trump tried to put in. Nancy Pelosi said no. D.C. police said no. Or Capitol Police said no. Trump tried to stop it before it started. He tried to put them in place so in case anything cracked off, they would be there to protect. It was all designed by the Democrats to have an issue so they could have their rebuttal to all of the riots that they commit on their side. Now Tim Walz, knee deep, eyeball deep in fraud in his state. Now, he's talking about, well, Mississippi is not, their funds haven't been frozen. I think, I could be wrong, but I think that the reason the funds are frozen is because those states are ones that would not turn over their SNAP records to see who's committing fraud and who wasn't. Those states that he mentioned refused to turn over their SNAP documents. And that's why. Mississippi did. They cooperated. So why would a state not turn over the records for the welfare benefits and all? Because they know that they are fraudulent. That's why. The same reason Democrats don't want people to have an ID to vote, because they want to cheat. It's just that simple. Democrats, the professional Democrats, are rotten people. Terrible. Now, we have this cut of the little weenie boy, the little mousy boy, the sissy who designed the Minnesota flag that looks like Somalia's flag when they replaced their flag to look more like Somalia's. I guess they had a contest, and this little mousy sissy is the one that won the honor of designing the new state flag. Cut 17, go.
You know, like when the flag redesign kind of whole process was going about and my flag was like chosen, there was a lot of even just controversy and apprehension from the more conservative sides just about the old flag being, you know, ushered out of being our flag. You know, a lot of them said this flag represents us. We love this flag. And, you know, even despite its very colonialistic, very racist imagery and history and even the historical context behind it, a lot of people were still very upset at that being changed and removed. So I think, you know, just kind of starting from that point already, there was a lot of division almost between political lines about whether we change it or whether we keep the old flag. And then just kind of, I think, slowly morphed into the whole Somali controversy of, you know, my perspective is they wanted to find a way to, the far right specifically, like invalidate the progressive change of the flag.
Yes, the progressive change of the flag. You see, this is the way these little rotten leftists do. They come along, something has been the way it is for a long, long time. People don't have a problem with it. They decide they're going to change it. And instead of their proving their case as to why it should be changed, they put the onus on the people who are just fine with it for so long, for years and years and years, to say why it shouldn't be changed. No, that's not the way it should work. You want to change something, prove why you should change it. Prove to the people, not to the leftist communist governor and all of the people that work for him. No. But you see, Weenie Boy here thinks, oh, it's so awful, the conservatives. The conservatives. I mean, even the changing of the flag. Oh, they didn't want to do that. Even the history under that flag of colonialism and racism. And who said that? Did anybody say that about the Minnesota flag 15 minutes ago? Hell no. Not until these leftists come along and start trying to poke and social engineer and make everything that's traditional in America the bad thing. So how dare they? They've even protested the progression of the flag change. Why should any Minnesotans have a problem with living under a Somali flag? A Somali copycat flag. It's just disgusting. So offensive. And And that's, I think, what's causing the Somali controversy. Oh, is that right? All right, hang on. More coming up. It's the TJ Ritchie Show on 107.9 WBT, Charlotte's FM News Talk. Burning up the night. Don't forget, Nick Craig is coming up next with his new nighttime news hour. The Nick Craig Show. Loving that. 704-570-1079. Oh, man. You know, Lonnie Ray, you jump on here for a second?
Yeah, I'm here, man.
You know, when we first switched over to the FM, the 100,000 watt blowtorch of 107.9, I said I got excited for a minute because I thought on January 7th, that's when the WBT signal will be taken away from 11:10 a.m. So there's been a little grandfather period. You know where I'm going with this?
Yes.
Okay. And I said, wow. I asked the program director, Mike. I said, Mike, does this mean that after 103 years of broadcasting on the AM signal, that I am going to be the final local voice on News Talk 1110 on January 7th? And he said, well, I haven't thought about it, but possibly. And I said right then, he hadn't thought about it because it's something special and there's no way they were going to let that happen to me. Remember?
I remember that conversation, yes.
Because I said, Mark Levin will come on after I do. So I'll be the final local voice. But look what they did. Now it's going to be Nick Craig with that honor. I knew it. I knew they'd find some way.
Do it every time, don't they, man?
Every time. They're like, we cannot let that rank amateur have that honor. We got to get somebody else that can say that for the record books.
It should be an uproar, man. We got to take to the streets.
Yeah, well, I'd have to put pants on. And I'm not doing that. I'm not kidding. It is hot. I'm tired of the weather being cold one day and hot the next. And then people say, well, welcome to North Carolina. No, it's just, that's not the way the Lord wants it.
Right.
And I'm because I have the home studio, and during one of the breaks earlier, I was wearing some what do you call them, joggers, and it's kind of that vinyl material, not like windbreaker type material.
Yeah,
I had to go in there and get out of those. I was sweating. Not to be too graphic about it with the John and Joan Q listener here, but I was sweating from the waist down like nobody's business. It was like I was working at Disney World in the middle of the day.
It was sticking to you.
Yeah, I was swamping. So I had to get up, go down the hall in my closet, and I'm sitting here like Porky Pig right now. I got on a shirt and nothing on the bottom. Completely naked, except for my shirt.
You got a full size shirt or one of those tank shirts?
No, I got a full shirt, but I got it tied at the waist.
Okay.
No, I had to go put on shorts, and then I have a fan blowing right under my desk. That is not the way it should be in the new year. It's January. And what they say, record high tomorrow? Is that what they were saying?
Yeah, like something in the 70s, man.
Man. Hey, there was nothing good in the 70s. Especially not January weather. I like to be bundled up and cozy. That's what I like. All right, I got some trans news here. This happened in Glasgow, Scotland. There's a guy who says that he is going to change his sex to be a woman, and he's about to have what they call bottom surgery. That's where they cut off the man business, and well, they take the man business and cut it and form it into what is supposed to be a woman's business. So he's about to have that done. They're gonna, obviously they're gonna take. They'll use the twig for cosmetic purposes, and they're going to cut off the berries. Okay? So in order to celebrate, a way to celebrate his last day of having junk, he put up these flyers about town, and it said, and also online, it said, "Come watch me get kicked in the blanks one last time before bottom surgery." So all these people came and lined up and kicked him in his man business before he goes and has it cut off. Now, let's take these two things separately. And I'm on record as saying if someone believes that they are the opposite sex, or they believe they can change into the opposite sex, then they have a mental condition that needs medical treatment. They need to be in the hospital. So you got that. Then any guy who wants to be kicked between the pockets, he has a completely separate mental condition that he should seek medical attention for. Right? You got a big problem. So when you combine the two of them, and if you show up to do it, you're crazy. So there's nothing but mentally unstable people involved in this one activity. The guy who thinks he's about to be a girl, wanting people to come kick him in the crotch, the people showing up to kick him in the crotch, and the people showing up to cheer on the people to kick him in the crotch. If you even want to watch somebody run up full force and just kick a man in the crotch because he asked for it, then you have a certain mental instability yourself. Don't you think, Lonnie?
Definitely, man.
Which one's the most crazy? Taking the trans part out of it. A guy who likes being kicked like that, or the people who like kicking a guy like that?
It's all crazy, man.
It's a toss-up, I think. Now, you going to tell me that this is not just an opportunity to live out some fetish? Please. I don't get any of that. Because I just can't fathom how a guy could find any type of enjoyment. That's one of the most excruciating things that a man. That's why it's always threatened to a guy, even in jest. And you wince if a guy sees another guy get that. He's like, "Oh, sympathy pains." It's like, "Oh, don't." Sometimes, if you see that in a movie or something, as a guy, it kind of makes you feel like you're going to throw up just watching it, if you're a normal guy. But to show up on a Sunday in a park on a beautiful day and say, "Why are you here?" "Oh, I came to watch the guy get kicked in the crotch over and over and over." What? You need to learn how great football is or something. Go find something else to do. But it's Scotland. I don't know if they have anything else to do. But still. You should be out there, if you got any sense, you should be out there trying to talk people out of the whole thing. Going, hey, just break this up. Let's go have a beer or something. Put your business away. Stop stretching, loosening your leg up like you're about to kick a 60-yard field goal or something. Let's all just calm down. Let's go get a pint. Don't nobody want to kick you in the business. Y'all aren't kicking anybody today. Let's just go find a group of doctors for all of you. All right, one segment left before the great Nick Craig comes on. So we'll try to burn it up coming up next. Hang on. Charlotte's FM News Talk 107.9 WBT. 100,000 watt blowtorch. Broadcasting live from the big dangerous city. Bring in the heat. It's the TJ Ritchie Show. I am the TJ Ritchie. Yeah, the TJ Ritchie. I'm the main. 704-570-1079. That's the phone number. Text it. Thanks to Liberty Buick GMC. I had a lot of good texts tonight. Let's see. This one says, first time listening to your show. Good stuff. Great stuff. I know. No, I'm kidding. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm not good with compliments, by the way, in case you haven't noticed. I think I'm going to be, and I'll read something that's complimentary, and then I start, feeling awkward about it, so I have to ruin it by either going overboard, sarcastic, bragging, or being self-deprecating, which basically it's the same thing. Now, this is pretty clever. A minute ago, I said Tim Walz is up to his eyeballs in fraud. And this person said he's not up to his eyeballs in fraud. He's walls deep. That's a good one. Get it? Tim Walz. He's walls deep. Yes. Slay. Miss Jeannie said, hi, TJ. Happy New Year. Love listening to your show each night. Keep up the great work. She's in Gastonia. Thank you. See, I didn't mess that one up. I took the compliment. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's see. Ray said, no more TJ Ritchie going forward. TJ prime time. 7 to 9 is the new prime time. Yeah. Let's go with that. I'm the best. I'm the feature performer. Prime time. That's right. Okay. By the way, I don't know if you realize this, but the Chat GPT, or as Jimmy Kimmel calls it, Chat GBT, will create images of a gay Jesus, but will not generate a similar picture of Muhammad. ChatGPT admits it's a double standard, not based on fairness, but to, quote, minimize harm, end quote, and avoid, quote unquote, high risk content. You see, it is the violent Christians that you have to worry about so much. The mean, violent Christians. No. And that's one of the reasons why it's so easy for people to make fun of Christians and to talk trash about Christians, because we are the peaceful faith. The forgiving faith in the name of the Jesus. And people know that. And to act any other way is stupid. Absolutely stupid. But they play these games, you know. Like, the Christians are bad. Christians are violent. Oh. Yeah, right. When's the last time you saw any footage of Franklin Graham standing up and declaring, violence against anybody? Saying they don't believe the way just because of the way they believe. They don't believe the way we do, so they need to be killed. Or they said this about the Jesus, let's go kill them and burn down their villages. When have you ever heard that from Franklin Graham? Never. Never. Now, there was a school board meeting in Maine, and one member of the school board was trying to get clarification from other members of the school board about students being suspended for quote unquote misgendering another student. Okay, so this is a headbutting between school board members. One school board member is not psychotic, talking to other school board members who are obviously off their rockers. It's cut 7, Lonnie, if you still have that ready. Go.
For clarification, is this a policy that's used if a student misuses a pronoun, they are suspended?
An intentional behavior. Yeah, that's part of the definition of bullying.
So if I raise my daughters if the person is a female, appears to be a female, to use she pronouns, and that student says, no, I want to be something else, will my child be suspended for that?
Well, yeah, that would be harassment.
When I heard that students are being suspended because they are using the wrong pronoun, I was aghast. I didn't realize that.
They should be suspended in the bullying. I disagree with you saying that's incorrect.
Well, one is biologically facts. It's actually XX chromosomes, XY chromosomes. Those are facts. We can't change those. It doesn't matter what our opinion is. We can't change those things. Those are immutable facts. And I'm wondering, are we, what I'm asking, my question is, are we suspending students for immutable facts? That's what I'm asking.
Not for making a genuine mistake. If somebody is doing what you're sort of doing here and sort of trying to attack somebody because you don't agree with it, that's very different. And I think that's what they're talking about is, I'm going to keep saying it because I know it bothers you, then yes, this policy should apply.
I think that you are aligned by assuming that I am attacking anybody.
And I don't know what you mean, because I'm
asking a general question, Peg.
If you I think it's been answered. I think if you accidentally do it and somebody corrects you, fine, it's not an issue.
I mean, think about the other kids. So what is your goal here? That they're allowed to be dead named?
I do not believe it's harmful to speak the truth.
You don't think it's harmful to be called something you don't identify with all day long?
I don't think it's harmful to speak the truth.
Right. If you're a sane person, it's harmful to the kid to go along with a lie and live in this pretend world with them. Peg, you're the one that's being harmful to the child, right? Okay, so a kid, which again, we're talking about children. Children come in and say, hey, they're born a girl, but says, hey, I'm a boy now because I say I'm a boy. And my name is Christopher now, not Christy. You call me Christopher and refer to me as a boy and pretend like I'm a boy. And if the other kid who has common knowledge of science and the truth doesn't go along with it just because your other kid is in a fantasy world that you're pandering to and making it worse, that kid gets suspended. The normal kid gets suspended. The one who's been molded by goofy parents and educators gets to call the shots about what's real and what isn't real, or how one student acts versus what reality is. What if all of a sudden the white kid decides, I'm going to start identifying as Asian, and runs around acting out all of the Asian stereotypes that are offensive, and says, you must refer to me as Asian? Are they going to do that? You know, because a lot of times these men who pretend to be women will put on what is the most offensive, I don't know, clown show of what a woman really is. And instead of it being offensive to women, we just have to go along with it. Would they do the same if somebody's running around acting out the most offensive Asian stereotypes imaginable and says, from now on, I identify as Asian, and if you don't go along with it, I want you suspended? I'm guessing they wouldn't, as they shouldn't, no more than they should go along with what they have. This is Maine we're talking about, though. A bunch of Mainers. That's what you call people from Maine. Did you know that? Mainers. You know why I know that? Because I'm worldly. That's why. And I watch that reality show on Animal Planet about the game wardens in Maine. That's all. All right, Nick Craig is coming up next. Oh, Mr. Perfect. Nick Craig coming up next. God loves you and ain't nothing you can do about it. Talk to you tomorrow.